What's going on, everyone? Welcome into Titans Today by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, breaking down some Titans trade news for you guys as Dennis Daley is coming to Nashville from Charlotte. So we'll be breaking down this trade and getting everyone familiar with one of the new tackles on this football team. So the trade details coming initially from Ian Rappaport. The Titans acquire offensive lineman Dennis Daley, along with a 2024 7th-round pick from the Panthers in exchange for a 2024 5th. Now, I should probably just get this out in the open right now. If you are expecting Dennis Daley to come in here and compete for a starting job on the offensive line, don't get your hopes up. That's not what this trade means, right? That's not what Mike Vrabel and the Titans are trying to accomplish right here. So the Titans are pretty secure up front. But we see these trades from time to time where, take Tyree Gillespie, for example, right? Where Titans brought him over and then they cut him anyway. Sometimes teams and GMs just see something in a player and figure it's worth a flyer on a day 3 draft pick. But this trade is a little bit different because it's not a 7th rounder, it's a 5th. I mean, that's a little bit more skin in the game here. So let's get to know Dennis Daley a little bit here because I'm willing to wager not many people watching this video have ever heard of the former South Carolina Gamecock who's been with the Carolina Panthers for the last 3 seasons. So he was a 6th-round pick back in 2019, and he's been an off and on again starter for the Panthers over the last 3 years. He's got over 10 starts under his belt, so he's not some kind of rookie that's never been playing pro snaps before. But last year with the Carolina Panthers, I can tell you this, from PFF, he wasn't graded very kindly. Overall grade of 51.8. His pass blocking was his weakest game, 36.4. Run blocking, 61.3. That's not the bad news. The bad news is he gave up 9 penalties last season and 3 sacks. I don't want to poo-poo on Dennis Daley, but those are the stats and the facts from PFF and all that. So this is not a player that's going to come in here and push Taylor Lewan or Dillon Radunz for their starting job, right? Or Nicholas Petit-Frere. This trade to me might signal that the Titans might not be super healthy up front and in their depth, and they saw an opportunity to get some more proven talent for a 5th rounder, and they got a 7th back. So if you want to cancel this out, they basically traded a 6th rounder for this starting tackle. For this tackle, not starting tackle. I broke my own rule there. In Dennis Daley here. But let me know this. I want to ask this question here on the show. Be honest with me. Have you ever heard of Dennis Daley before? Don't lie. Don't act like you are some Carolina Panthers offensive tackle whiz here. Give me a simple Y for yes or N for no. So let's break down this trade a little bit more and what this means for the Titans. Because similar to the Tyree Gillespie trade, I think this is similar under that same umbrella of GMs are always talking. And they saw, the Titans in this case, saw an opportunity to beef up their offensive line a little bit. Now, there is some good qualities Dennis Daley adds, okay? I don't want just to be an anti-Daley show here, right? Before we even get started. One very key part of his game is his ability to be versatile, okay? Just take what he did last season for the Titans. He had snaps at left tackle, predominantly left guard, and right guard. So you are getting a player that can bounce around the offensive line a little bit, right? He can step in if needed at guard. He can step in at tackle. And I don't think he's going to be your 6-man swing offensive tackle. That's going to be Radunz or Nicholas Petit-Frere. But he can definitely, if he makes this roster, which we probably should preface with, he's not a slam dunk to make this roster. Although giving up a 5th rounder and getting a 7th back, clearly the Titans see something in him that warrants the idea of him making the 53-man roster right before a trade went down. I mean, if anything, maybe the Titans got word from Carolina that they were going to cut him and he would hit waiver wires, and the Titans didn't want to risk him falling all the way to them towards the end of the line. And they decided, you know what? Give up a 5th, receive a 7th. We'll call it a 6 to make it English for everyone. That's worth it. So that is the trade news right there. By the way, if you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and do so by clicking that sub button right below me. If you're looking for a Titans YouTube channel to just keep you up to date on all the latest news and rumors throughout the entire season, because I don't know many other Titans YouTube channels out there that are getting a video out to you guys when tackles who no one has ever heard of before are being traded. But we're breaking it down here from my kitchen right before my fantasy football draft. So you know what? That's good enough for me to let you guys know to make sure you subscribe. And on a side note, if you want to offer any advice of who I should pick in my fantasy draft, love the Chat Sports two-way conversation. So let's get back on track a little bit here, and let's take a deeper look at this offensive line here and sort of where he might slot in, right? Because it's not going to be Radunz or Petit-Frere or Taylor Lewan. No, those guys and those jobs are pretty locked up. To me, I'm guessing the Titans are looking maybe more on the interior offensive line. And what made him a little bit more attractive is the fact that he has played tackle before, and he can bounce it outside if needed. Now, in his career at Carolina, he had 21 starts in 34 games. Injuries were there. In his freshman season, rookie year, 14 games, 9 games started. Second year, only played in 5 games, starting in 3. In 2021, he appeared in 15 games, starting in 9. So he was sort of off and on again, like we mentioned, a part of that starting offensive line for the Panthers, which secretly has somewhat improved this offseason. I mean, Ike Mekwonu was a good pick. They had some nice pickups in free agency. Don't sleep on the Panthers up front. They're not going to be as bad as they have been before. All right, I want to ask one more question, and then we'll get on out of here. What's your confidence level in the Titans offensive line? How are we feeling? I mean, I'm guessing you guys at home are hoping it's not a Taylor Lewan week 1 performance again this season. The only good thing I can tell you is at least he's not going to write a sad story of an apology on Twitter. I vomited when I saw that. I didn't like that at all. Not for my starting tackle, right? You need him to be tough, not to be patting the opponent on the back after a good game. No, that's not what you want to see. But let me know your confidence level. Scale it 1 to 10. 10 being you're super confident. This is the number 1 O-line in the NFL. 1 being Ryan Tannehill is going to have a horrible season if he even makes it through this year with the Hogs up front. Let me know what your confidence level is. All right, let's one more time just recap the trade all together and then send you guys on your way. So the Tennessee Titans receive offensive lineman Dennis Daley and a 2024 7th rounder, and the Panthers get a 2024 5th rounder right here. So I think this is clearly a depth move. Not even a guarantee to make the roster, but if you're giving up a 5th, probably got a good feeling that they wouldn't pull off this trade if they didn't see him being a part of this roster. So I'll push him all the way into making it, although he doesn't really have that lock quality, right? You know what I'm saying here. All right, that will do it for us on today's show. I really appreciate everyone that tuned in. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, just hit that thumbs up icon and say, give me a tighten up down in the comment section so I know who the real ones are.